You know, if you take Starship Troopers and add a little horror, you have Mimic. Mimic is about an entomologist and her husband who built a super insect to control the infested roach population of New York. But unbeknownst to them, they would turn into a man-sized horrific insect bug. Just a heads up, if you're epileptic, skip the credits of this movie because there's a bunch of flashy imagery. You know, and there's one thing about this movie. I think the sound mixer and the director was beefing.
Nobody tells DJ Request what to play.
Because, boy, the levels on this damn movie are outrageous. And I've never watched a movie that had so many fake jump scares. I mean, damn near every cut has a loud sound to it, and it has nothing to do with a jump scare. And it's just like, what are we doing here? My God, my ears cannot take this. It's extremely loud transitions, extremely loud horror effects, screeching, but then soft dialogue. And I know that was an era of filmmaking, but boy, am I glad that shit is somewhat over. Cause yeah, I gotta say this movie holds up from what I remember. I watched this movie when it first came out years ago. It was a good movie then, and it's still a good movie. The acting's great. It's surprisingly, unlike a lot of other horror movies, doesn't have a lot of plot armor for its characters. So I was kind of like, oh, I like that. And I like the fact that there is a multiple of characters whose journey leads to the same destination. And I like stories like that. Just like Weapons, you know, it's separate, but then they converge at the end. And this is kind of one of those stories, and you have a few of those characters. And once they get together, they have to figure out a way to get rid of these bugs. The bug in question, I believe it's called the Judas bug, is a modified insect from the doctor. And they were supposed to die off years ago, but somehow they evolved, and their evolution has them evolving into humanoid-like creatures, being able to put on a humanoid mask and even grow lungs. So once they find this out, they have to ultimately find the king and eradicate the nest. You have a mentally challenged boy and his father. Then you have the cop, the New York beat cop, who is just doing his job but is reluctant to help these people in the beginning, but ultimately sacrifices himself later on for the greater good. And then you have the assistant to the husband, who ultimately didn't have plot armor and his demise was met. But it was a refreshing movie. It's a nicely paced movie. It doesn't linger on too many scenes too long. It doesn't hit you over the head with a bunch of blatant exposition. It doesn't tell you and show you. It does one or the other. And the characters find out things on their own, and they use that knowledge to their benefit. And they find themselves in hard, like regular horror movies, they find themselves in a hard spot where they have to improvise. And luckily, the entomologist knows a little bit something about how pheromones work, and they get stuck in a cabin in a train car. One of the nastiest scenes of the movie, they have to put all this bug goo on them, which is nasty, to help them survive all the way to the end. But ultimately, this was a pretty good movie. The creature effects, as far as practical effects, still look good. Practical effects, they don't go anywhere. But the visual effects, some are hit and miss. But it won't, nothing in here will take you out of the movie because most of it takes place at night. I'd give this a solid 3 out of 5 pumpkins. As I sat down to edit this, I realized this was inspired by Meet the Applegates, a family of cockroaches who look human that move into a neighborhood. If you haven't seen that movie, I'm gonna put that on my list to review next. Anyway, that's it for this review. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.